What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Odds Are podcast. I am your co-host, semi-professional bettor Chris. We got the other co-host on, as always, Gabriel. What's going on, man?
Good, man. I saw did we talk about the last episode that you're out of FanDuel jail now?
Oh yeah, yeah. They no that
Free at
happened.
last?
That happened literally like we got off the thing. I like took my do not disturb off, and I had a barrage of emails from FanDuel saying like radar customer service, radar customer service, radar customer service, and I was gonna be like, well, I haven't had any customer service yet, so I'm gonna get. But then the very last thing was like, um, someone got from the accounts team, the elusive accounts team, finally got back to me and was like, we've reviewed this and it's fine. It was like
Hell
no
yeah.
apology, nothing. They're just like, here's your shit back. So all my stuff was in there, which was nice. All the tickets that I had, that one still cashed, and then my futures that were still alive are still there. So no harm, no foul, I guess.
Yeah.
But still kind of annoyed me. I had like $100 of, not a ton, but like $100 of best ball winnings in there. Which was fun to see because like I kind of forgot that I even had FanDuel best ball because like
Oh yeah, yeah.
I haven't been
You
able to
probably
check.
played something like June,
Yeah,
June
yeah.
last year.
I was making those teams in like July, and then I haven't been able to
Yeah.
check them since mid October. So I'm like, I totally forgot that even was a thing. But yeah, I cashed out on some best ball, which was fun. I played like a couple just like $3, 10, 12 team drafts, and I think I won like two leagues. So, we'll take our dubs.
Nice.
Today's episode, we're gonna be talking about our favorite divisional weekend picks. We're gonna give a pick for all four of the games. Um, yeah, I think let's the okay, we'll just go in order. But I do have a specific question for you on Giants Eagles, but let's start
Yeah.
with Jags Chiefs. So that's the first
Yeah.
game up on Saturday. The line has now moved to 9. What do you like?
Yeah. So I think I put, I talked about like the squares teaser of the week is going to be Eagles and Chiefs.
Mhm.
Now since it moved to 9, it's not that great, but I already took it and I laid like 3 units on it. But I mean, I think from everything I've seen, I sent you like a bunch of trends this week. Like it seems like pretty damn likely that both the Chiefs and the Eagles are going to move on. I think there's a lot of fear with like what happened last season where we saw both one seeds lose in the divisional round,
Yeah.
but that was the Tennessee Titans who were closer to like a middle tier team than like top of the league. And the Green Bay Packers, like at that point of the season, like the Niners were statistically a better team than the Packers. Um,
Yeah.
like these one seeds this year are different. Like they've earned the spot, and they should win.
Yeah. I mean, the Titans last year, weren't they like a 12 win one seed? Like there was something like not that
It was like
impressive.
11 and like 5 or something, right? Or
Yeah,
12 and 5.
it
Yeah.
was crazy. I think it was 12 and 5. And like DVOA, I think they were like this like the 12th best team or something. Like it was
Yeah.
whack. I definitely think that's factoring into public opinion here. I also think obviously the Jags performance last week is factoring into public opinion here. Um yeah, I mean it's crazy. Like this is the same exact line for the game that happened in what, like week 7 or 8 or whatever.
Well, it opened
And
at 10
that one opened
that
at
time,
10.
right? Came down to 9.5. This one opened at the 9.5 and came down to 8.5.
Mm-hmm.
And then back to 9. Around the same spot that Chiefs by over a touchdown. Um,
Yeah. And I think here, I mean, dude, like, I don't know. I just don't trust this Jags team. I do think this Jaguars team will be good. Like I have a lot of faith in Trevor Lawrence and Peterson and I don't know. I think they're building the team correctly. Like they're giving Trevor Lawrence a lot of weapons, but they lost their starting left tackle, Cam Robinson, like a couple weeks ago. And the Chiefs have been pretty good at getting pressure. I should back that up with a stat, but like I just know
I
that
saw one stat that was they've been like top 5 in the league in pressure since the Jaguars game. And Trevor Lawrence hasn't been great under pressure, but if you look at the Chiefs schedule of who they played since that game, it'll make sense why.
yeah, you could probably also make that same argument about like the Jags offensive line right now, though. I mean, the Jags haven't been getting like a ton of or
Well, they
they
played a
haven't been.
decent schedule of defenses, the Jags, in this winning streak. But I don't know when did the tackle get hurt? Because I mean, the last in their winning streak, that's wins against the Cowboys where they put up 40 points, win against the Jets defense on the road, which is a really good defense.
Yeah.
Titans defense, which wasn't great at that point in the season. Chargers defense too was statistically good.
The thing is, though, a lot of those, except for the Chargers game, they're playing bad quarterbacks or turnover prone quarterbacks, right? Like
Yeah,
Dak was throwing hella picks. Like I remember we were watching that game and like the Jags would start that game. I this is an exaggeration, but like they were starting, I feel like on Dallas's 40, like every like third possession because Dak was throwing picks. Or like fumbling. The Jets, I mean, that they only had to score what 17 points to win that game. Remember that was the
yeah. I
game
mean,
where
they
they
would have won it with 4-7.
10. Yeah. It was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's not like they had to do a ton, but I see what you're
Yeah.
saying. Um,
So
I
I
just
think
think,
like the public perception right now is that like almost Trevor Lawrence, like these spots are too big for him. Like we saw the last 2 weeks in these like winner go home games where he did struggle a bit. I mean, the second half last week he was just insane.
Mhm.
But honestly, like considering this Chiefs defense, like I would expect Trevor Lawrence to look like how he did in the second half instead of the first half of last week. But the thing is, like the Jags, sure, they can put up 28 points in this game. Can they stop the Chiefs from putting up 40? I
No.
think that's where there's doubt. Um,
Yeah. I mean, we were kind of texting about
but
this.
yeah, I mean the Chiefs though, like this year, like offensively they've been great. They've been a little bit sloppier though. Like I think they've had a negative turnover margin this year. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I just, I just,
that's the main bet because I don't I think Trevor Lawrence will impress people this week again.
I mean, maybe. Yeah. Like, I'm going to pull up DVOA here quick. And while I'm doing that, I just think, dude, like, we talked about this. Like, the Chiefs, like, their defense might not be great. Sure. Like, they need 3 stops, and this is a 2 possession game. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if they get 3 stops, I promise you, Mahomes is going to put points on the board, whether it be a field goal, a touchdown, 2 field goals, 2 touchdowns. Like, he's going to make this he'll make that a 2 possession game if you get 3 stops. And like, um, I trust the Chiefs to get enough pressure to make Lawrence uncomfortable. I bet they take away the intermediate throws. They're going to make him try to beat him deep. And like to me, that's a formula that you're going to see a lot of 3-and-outs or a lot of short drives. And um, one thing that's interesting here, and this is another reason why I like the Chiefs, is like this Chiefs team isn't the explosive Chiefs team that we used to see in the past, where like it would just be like, you know, like kind of like when they were like playing Madden against the Bills, in that AFC Championship game. Like this team
Yeah,
is not like that this year. This is a little bit more methodical of a team, and I think that bodes well for them being able to cover this spread because what that means is like you get a stop. Let's say you take 5 minutes off the clock with the drive, right? Just put up a touchdown.
yeah,
You get another stop, take 3 minutes off the clock with like a quick drive to get in field goal. Like right there, you've already like axed a quarter and now you're covering the spread. So I like what the Chiefs are going to be able to do here. And I just don't think this is probably where the Jaguars luck runs out.
yeah. That makes sense. I mean, I have the Chiefs in every parlay and teaser I'm doing this week because I expect them to win. And I know the Jags aren't going to be a popular bet, but to be honest, I think looking at to the 2 Saturday games, the 2 1 seeds and over touchdown favorites, I think I would be most surprised. I think I'd be more surprised if the Eagles lose than if the Chiefs lose.
I Okay. Well, with that, let's move into the Eagles game. And my question for you is: you've been doing a lot of those. What is it called? Killer football or killer
Those
sports?
sports, yeah, like that sports database.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for anyone not listening, there's a website called Killer Sports where you can run queries on like I don't know how long the data goes back, but a while on
Yeah.
like trends as it relates to certain spots for teams and what that means for how often they're covering numbers against the spread, straight up totals, whatever. And so Gabe has been investigating just kind of like what we got for the matchups this week.
Yeah.
And
And
you
like
sent me
the Jaguars one, which is just like teams off big comebacks. Usually it's like, I don't know, damn near around 50% against spread, like nothing to take away from it. But when they go on the road their next game, it drops to like 30% against spread. And like if the big comeback was at home and they go on the road the next game, then like their against spread percentage was like 25%, something absurd.
I like it because
Just
it quantifies like the letdown spot. You know what I mean? Like we always say that shit, but like
yeah.
there's the numbers, you know.
And it's funny too, though, if you look at the trend, like the last time this happened was the last Jags Chief game a couple weeks ago. Like they had a big comeback and
Oh,
they went
right.
on the road to Arrowhead.
Yeah.
But I mean, they almost covered that spread.
Wasn't that a big comeback against the Raiders, who were up by like, wasn't it like 17?
I think so, because I think I saw the Raiders blew like 4 17-point leads this season or something.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, they were down like 17-0 or one at one point, or just 17 points. And the Jags came back. And I remember that week you were on the Raiders, I was on the Jags, and I did a little victory lap because that was outrageous, but like I was on the right side of that, comeback. Um, yeah, man. So I don't know. I'm kind of good to move on from this Jags Chiefs game just because like this number could go to, honestly, like it could go to 10 and I would probably
I
still
think
take
10
it.
is too much. I think 9.5 is probably its ceiling, just for
I,
the teaser protection. Like if books are like, all right, we don't want Chiefs and any teasers.
wait, so so you're on the Chiefs side this weekend, right?
On the card, I'm gonna pick the Jags at the 9. Yeah.
Nice. Well, I respect it. This honestly feels so similar to Seahawks and Niners to me, where like I just think it's a bad matchup for the underdog this week. Like the one thing that the Jags defense does well is take away the run, and the Chiefs couldn't give a shit about the run. Like
Yeah.
this Jags team is 30th in DVOA against the pass, and that's just not going to cut it when you're playing Mahomes in his peak. Like he's going
Yeah.
to dice
Just an
this team
absolute
up.
Yeah, an absolute mismatch there. But I mean, I guess the reason why I'm taking the Jags is how big of a favorite can a team be and they sport the Kansas City Chiefs off or defense? Like, can that team be a 9 point favorite against the Jaguars offense? I guess we'll see. That's what I'm betting against. That
I don't know, bro.
Trevor
Like
Lawrence, that explosiveness, too many points.
we keep shitting on the Jags or the Chiefs defense, and like they're 14th in weighted DVOA. Like they've been a little bit stronger of a unit since who's really been turning it on is Chris Jones. Chris Jones has been a
Yeah.
fucking beast, dude. Like I honestly at one point I was like, man, maybe I should take him for DPOY because like he's kind of doing some Aaron Donald stuff right now. Like double team, but he's still like if I think there's a stat called effective sack rate, which like it looks at like pressure rate compared to like the outcome of the play where you got the pressure. And like
Mhm.
he is, I think he's right behind Nick Bosa on effective sack rate because like he's getting double teamed and he's forcing incomplete passes, he's forcing throwaways, he's sacking people, and like as a nose tackle, dude, like that's so impressive. Like coming from the interior.
Yeah.
So I don't know the strength, admittedly, of the Jaguars O line, but I feel like this could be a problem for them. And like I said, they've kind of just like the Chiefs defense has been a little bit better. Like they're average, but I don't think they're like the worst. They're not as bad as Jacksonville. I'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good
So
point.
then you get Chiefs off a bye. Andy Reid off a bye is a monster. So
Yeah.
I'm just good, bro. I think this is one like this to me screams like that Raiders game where we're like, oh, Mahomes too big of a number, and then they just come out and put up like fucking 30 in the first half. So I think for me, instead of adding more units on the spread, just because I'm thinking that line might be too efficient with possibility of like a backdoor or whatever, I'm just gonna go and put more units on the team total, and then maybe some alt team totals if I can find them because I think the Chiefs could put up 40 plus here.
Yeah. I mean, the team total right now is 30.5 at our book and 14.5 for the first half.
Yeah, so I'll probably play both. I feel good about what they're gonna do here.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Giants Eagles. So that was my question for you: is have you found any trends? Because I don't think you've sent me any for Giants Eagles on Killer Sports.
Yeah, the one I sent you here was let me find it. So it's a it was a long one typed out.
Yeah, I know some of
But
these. I'm like, oh damn, yeah, this has happened a couple times in 3 scenarios.
so this one has happened more than you think. But so divisional game, where the favorite is on a losing against a spread streak of at least like 4 games, and the dog is on a winning against a spread streak of at least 4 games. So expect the public perceptions high the dog, hey, the Giants, who this year have been the best against the spread team in the NFL, right? They covered, I think, 10 games now against spread, and the Eagles, who all of a sudden haven't been cashing checks. Well, those teams, the favorite in those matchups are 60% against spread, straight up 70%.
Yeah, I mean, and I think we're kind of getting some signals here from Vegas. Like if I look at VSN, 65% of the money is coming in on the Giants, 70% of the bets, and this thing is not moving. Like,
yeah, it's not going to 7.
Yeah, no, it's stuck here. You and I, for anyone who doesn't follow us on Action that's listening to this, we both bought the points to get this to 7. It only took it to -118, so you're not losing too many points there. I'd say that's worth the hook. And
yeah, I think it's a little bit more expensive now because back then it was when we took it, it was -105. Now it's at -110, so you have to pay a little bit.
Yeah,
but
yep. Oh, that's actually significantly more expensive now. It's -125, so you're giving up a good amount of ROI there.
And I know people don't recommend buying points, but I guess it's for your comfort. I think they usually say, like, more often than not, it just doesn't pay off, especially the price that you have to pay to buy the points. But you can pick and choose your spots, and
yeah,
I feel like I like the cushion here.
For sure. Like I like having the ability to push at a nice number like 7. And it wasn't like we paid too much. We paid 10 cents on the dollar. You know what I mean? It's not like we're losing. It's not like it was like down to -130. Like it's fine.
Yeah, and I'm more willing to pay for favorites than for dogs.
That makes
I don't know if
sense.
that makes sense, but it's just favorites are, unknown territory for me. I'm a dog guy.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't really know if I have much analysis here. I think the Eagles are the better team. I think they're at home. I think they're off a bye. Like I feel really comfortable laying the points here with this team who we just saw smack this team twice. Like
Yeah,
that
and
that last
it's like
go ahead.
it's just how good the Giants offense looked last week against the Vikings. It's going to be completely different when they face just the Eagles defense. Like the size and the speed of those guys, it's just unmatched compared to the Vikings.
I mean, even if you just think about it from an O-line perspective, like
Yeah, both sides of the trenches.
yeah,
I don't know if you saw like the clips of Dexter Lawrence just destroying Garrett Bradbury in the Vikings game, but just they dominated us.
Yeah,
and the
and
Vikings O-line has been like average to, I mean, they've kind of fallen off as of late, but they weren't a terrible unit.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, they're not going to get pressure. Like, what they're going to have to do and what they'll probably do is return to more of the normal, like Wink Martindale type of play where they're going to be blitzing a lot. And honestly, great. I think Jalen Hurts, this is another shadow stat. You may have this. I think Jalen Hurts has been one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL against pressure this season. Just because like he's versatile. Like that's exactly why you want a mobile quarterback. Like you either want just like, what was Tom Brady in his heyday, which is like someone that can read the pressure and get the ball out in less than 2 seconds, or you want someone that can, move around and like make something out of pressure. And that's what you get in Jalen Hurts. So I'm really excited about the offensive ceiling here. I think they're going to go crazy. And then on the flip side of the coin, I think this Philly defense is pretty good. I mean, they're the best against the pass. And that's kind of where that's where the Giants, when they win, have been succeeding. Like it's not because they're giving the ball to Saquon 30 times a game. That was the formula early in the season. But it hasn't really been the case. Like where they're winning is like the short to intermediary throws and then rolling Daniel Jones out and like, it's like dumping the ball off to Saquon, like you talked about last episode. Like he had 9 targets. I went back and I looked at the stats. Like that's ridiculous. Getting it to Isaiah Hodgins in the middle of the field, Daniel Bellinger, all their like weird tight ends that they throw to, like that's the bread and the butter. And like you're not going to be able to do that against this Philadelphia team. So they're going to make them try to beat them on the ground. And in a game script where you're projected to be losing, I just don't feel like that's a winning formula. So I think the Eagles are going to give them some trouble here.
Yeah. I haven't been able to find Jalen Hurts' pressure stats, but also another thing is that like he doesn't face pressure, period, too. Like he just dances back there. And if he's healthy, like unless that's the only way like the Giants really win. If Jalen Hurts just isn't healthy, his shoulder. But I mean, all signs is that like it's gonna be good. Um,
I,
2 weeks ago, it wasn't perfect, but I mean, they said that was his injury timeline, and he wasn't feeling that bad. He didn't look great in that game, but I expect him to look. It's going to be like those early Eagles, like September, October, where he drops back and he has 5 seconds to throw.
yeah, and then he's going to be cooking whoever's going to be trying, like AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. They're going to be cooking whoever tries to guard them. Like it's one of those things where like I bet we see at least a couple of deep touchdowns. Like
Yeah,
that we've seen how explosive this Eagles offense can be. They also can get it going on the ground too. And the Giants have been bad at the pass, but they're the worst team in the NFL against the run. So like I just don't think this is gonna bode well for the Giants. So I like the Eagles a lot in this spot.
yeah. And so I was
Real,
thinking about just since we both like the Niners too, and I don't think that's changed, just like our potential NFC Championship game with the Niners going to Philly. I've seen a lot of more tweets today that said like that game's going to be closer to a pick'em than it's going to be Eagles -3, and that's reflected in the Niners futures right now.
yep.
I was looking through trends, just like two elite teams, especially in the playoffs, matching up, and like when the home favorite is just like a small favorite or potentially a dog, how that looks. And it usually says to back the road team there or back, fade the home team. I think it was around like a 40% against spread hit rate, but I don't know, man. I still think the Eagles should look their best in that game against the Niners. I mean, these two teams are like built to like play each other.
Yeah.
I think that weakness in the Niners defense that we saw, I mean, last week with Geno, and I guess we saw other teams this year take advantage of that. We saw Patrick Mahomes whoop them. I think the Eagles at their full health, I think they can do that, especially at home. So I was thinking like right now isn't the best opportunity, I think, or there's not really like an incentive to pay up for an Eagles NFC Championship ticket right now because it's like plus 165. Like, just bet the Eagles this week, roll the winnings over, and bet them again next week. So it's going to be, I can get Eagles -1 at like -120. Sure, I'll probably be like a year and a half play for me.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I already took the future. I took it, I think, either last night or this morning. And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. In that spot, I'll probably play 49ers. Both as a hedge, and I have 49ers Super Bowl ticket at plus 1100, and I also have an Eagles ticket now at plus 500. I'll probably go ahead. I have more units on the Eagles one. I'll probably go ahead and play the 49ers. There's something that it's honestly it's a gut feeling. I just feel like they would sneak in to the Super Bowl. I kind of we always have our conspiracy theory talk on this show. I kind of like
Yeah,
the idea of a 49ers Chiefs rematch and Mahomes shows out and wins it. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
dang. I
But
feel like if the Niners and the Chiefs match up or rematch, it might. I don't know. I'd probably take the Niners again in a rematch.
yeah, it's tempting. We'll
Yeah,
have to see.
I think though. So I think for like the NFC, potential NFC Championship game, I think the ceiling, like the lowest not the line would go is Philly -1. But if Brock Purdy comes out and has his worst game, but like somehow the Niners sneak by the Cowboys, I think it might open at like Philly -3 or something. And if that's the case, like if I can get 3 points with the Niners, I'll jump on that right away because I'm sure it'll come right back down.
Yep.
But I think that is a possibility that like say Philly, smokes the Giants and the Niners win a close one and Brock Purdy struggles a little bit against the best defense they played.
I mean,
I
that's
might
kind of what
inflate the line a little bit.
the lines are telling us. You know,
Yeah.
yeah, I would agree. If we can get if that matchup does happen, Niners at Eagles, I would definitely hop on. If you get points on the Niners, I'm going to be all over that. What I was going to ask you was, I have almost no lean on totals this weekend. And starting just with these Saturday games, I just have no idea. Like, I truly have no fucking clue. Do you have any lean, or do you care to bet these?
I mean, overs went like 5-1 in wild card weekend or something. So
I think it's a trap.
I, Yeah, I feel like it's time for some unders. I mean, just looking at some of these games like Bengals, Bills, like that kind of does. I mean, I guess it's one that screams over, but if you consider like how the Bills offense is like the last few weeks, the Bengals injuries, I think the weather is going to be cold and windy. Maybe under 49 is a move there, but same thing with Cowboys and Niners, like two of the best defenses these teams have faced in a long time. Um, Two quarterbacks that I guess haven't really shown that they can shine in these big moments. Like under 46 there might be a move, but I'm probably, I don't know. I'll probably wait till people on Twitter tell me which totals they're taking because I can't like analyze the total myself.
Nice. Well, let's
Do you
talk
have any
about
leans? Nothing.
for Saturday, no.
I
For
mean, you like
Sun
Chiefs points.
Yeah, I'll take Chiefs points. Honestly, the 52, it's just a lot of points. I just don't really want to. I don't want to deal with it. Like, um, but yeah, if we move into Sunday, I mean, let's talk Sunday now. Like,
Yeah.
looking at the first matchup, Bengals Bills, I think I like the under in that one. Did these teams played this year, right? Oh, that was the
You
Demar.
played a quarter.
Yeah, that was the Demar
Yes.
Hamlin game.
I mean, it was 17-7 in like the first 10 minutes or first 7 minutes of the game before Damar Hamlin got hurt.
Yeah. Um, what game am I thinking about? Am I thinking about Bills Chiefs? That's the game I'm thinking about. Bills Chiefs. That was like what, like week 3 or 4 of the season.
Yeah.
And that one went under, I think, right? Because
Yeah.
it was a slog. I remember like,
Yeah. Like the pace. That's when the Bills are playing different early in the season where like they were just trying to be methodical. And they kind of forgot they had Josh Allen. Um,
yeah.
because I think early in the season they weren't putting up as many points as you would have expected. I
Mm.
think it wasn't like the explosive passing game early on.
In their close games, they weren't putting up many points, but in
Yeah.
the games where they were like deep favorites
Yeah,
or week
they had some
one,
blowouts. Yeah.
yeah, they put some points up. But yeah, I don't know. No lean on the total. So 5.5 is the spread on this one. Bengals are road dogs in Buffalo. I went ahead and I bought the points to take it to 6. I got that at minus 118. That's still floating around on Bet Online. I think we're on the same side on this one, right?
Yeah, I just keep growing to like him more. I wish BetOnline had outlines because I kind of want to do like a similar, just like trying to find a correlated same game parlay. Like if I can get like Bengals, like I don't know, just a crazy out, like Bengals minus 5.5. Parlay that with Burrows over and Jamar's over because all those Bengals passing games are kind of the overs are kind of deflated right now after what we saw last week, as well as I guess just as their dogs against a Bills defense that is kind of overrated at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think those lines are a little low, and I think parlay them like if you can get like an all line of like Bengals. I know Bet Online they're only going to give us Bet Online or Bengals minus 3.5, like plus I don't know maybe what is it going to be like 270 or like 310 or whatever. Maybe I'll use that, but I like the Bengals, man. I feel
Does
like
it
we're going to get the Bengals Chiefs part 4.
does it concern you that 71% of the bets and 60% of the handle are coming in on the Bengals?
No, I guarantee you, the Bills will have the majority of the money by Sunday.
That's a
Guarantee. It's
guarantee.
already changed a lot too. When we recorded the first episode, I think the handle was like 70% Bengals. And I think on Twitter you're gonna see all the reports that this is a sharp versus Joe's game where all the sharps are on the Bills,
Yeah,
and all the Joes are on the Bengals. But I mean,
yeah,
you don't have to be a sharp to realize like the reason why it's 5.5 is because the Bengals O-line injuries and what happened last week.
right, right.
Yeah. Like we've seen reports like models say it's closer to a 6 point spread, but I don't know. We saw what this line was a few weeks ago, and we've seen that like out of all quarterbacks, um, like out of all the like the elite quarterbacks in the league, right? I feel like no one else besides Joe Burrow is prepared to like come out with a banged up O line. I mean, this is the same thing as we saw last Super Bowl's run. And if it was last year, people would be trying to hammer this number.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's valid. I'm I'm right there with you. I'm a little concerned about the line. But the what feels true about the Bills is that like they just haven't been really good at covering games, like especially
Yeah.
against. I mean, I was gonna say especially against good opponents, but not even against any opponent. I mean, like 14-point favorites against Miami, and they had to like really scrape that one out. Like, I mean, I feel like this Bengals team is far better than that Miami team. And granted, you can't like do apples and oranges, whatever. But like, I just feel like this is going to be a much closer game than 5.5. And to your point, I like the Bengals to be live dogs here.
Yeah.
You had some trends that you sent me today for this one. I think those ones were really interesting.
What did I find here?
This was the like of
Oh yeah, dogs of like road dogs of 5.5. Like
yeah,
over the last 10 years, 60 like over 60% against the spread. Over the last 2 years, it's been like closer to like 65, straight up over 50%, those dogs.
wild.
Um, yeah, and I mean it makes sense. Like I think 5 has been considered a dead zone for a long time. But there probably is some value there, like for a team that's not going to be pushed to a full touchdown, but still isn't worthy at like 3 or 4. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think another one I saw was kind of similar to the Eagles Niners game, but just in a matchup like this with really good teams. But a big spread. The big dog usually does cover like closer to 60% in these opportunities where it's just two good teams, but for some reason one of them is getting a lot of points. And I think for this one, it's clear that it's just injuries. And are the injuries, is it overreaction? Is this line inflated because of those injuries? Maybe. That's what we're betting on.
Do you worry about I mean like so obviously we talked about injuries being kind of a key to why this number is what it is, but like does that concern you? Like does the status of the Bills offensive line concern you at all?
The Bengals, not really, man. I
The
mean, we've
Bengals.
we've seen yeah, we've seen it. Like every playoff game Joe Burrow's been in, they've had a bad O line. They've gotten crushed. Um, but I mean, is this Bills team the team to take advantage of it? Like they have one starter left in their secondary. Von Miller's on the D line. I mean, the D line is young and it still has talent, but I think in weighted DVOA, like the Bills have fallen to like 10th defensively. Um, they haven't
Yeah,
been great as of late. The Bengals have
they're
been the higher. Is it the Bengals are the higher defense weighted DVOA, top 5 offense weighted DVOA?
well, weighted DVOA has Buffalo at 8 and Cincy at 11. But I mean that's close enough. That's like, uh we're in the range where it's like not that different.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then I'm looking at pressure rates right now. Philly is just dominating this pressure rate chart. That's gonna be bad news for DJ and Mr. Dable. It's gonna be not good. But yeah, dude, I mean Buffalo is 16th in pressure rate this season, as of today. Like it's just not that good, like it's fine. The thing that concerns me is Cincinnati is all the way down there at 29th. So give Allen a lot of time to throw, and that concerns me. But also, like he's been throwing a lot of picks lately. So if anything, like give
yeah,
him more time to throw, he's gonna wind that thing up and chuck it down there and hope someone's around.
yeah.
Which
That will most definitely be in my same game parlay for this game.
Allen a pick.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
I
He's
think I saw a stat that said like with Brian Dable, like Josh Allen like led the league and like interception or lowest interception percentage rate, and now that's Daniel Jones and Josh Allen is back to what he was before Dable.
yeah, he's making a lot of ugly mistakes for sure.
Yeah,
Um, Yeah, so I mean, like you look at where Buffalo is, they're pretty average in terms of their ability to generate pressure. Even in their last three, doesn't really change much. Home, um, 16th. Yeah, they're just very run of the mill in terms of their ability to generate pressure. So against the banged up
yeah,
line, they'll probably be effective. They'll probably get to Burrow. They make them uncomfortable, but like, I don't know. I think it'll probably be
yeah,
fine. I mean, it's always been fine for them so far.
yeah.
So,
And a lot
uh,
of those Bengals stats like don't like things like pressure rate don't reflect that. If you look at like DVOA, and I think it's something we talked about in the preseason, the Bengals had like one of the hardest schedules in the league. Strength of schedule for their offense and their defense. I think they're both top 10. One of them was top 5. I saw. The
yeah,
Bills, not so much.
right. What does how do you feel about, I feel like the Bills or the Bengals have had quite a few lucky moments where they like won games on those moments. Like the Patriots comeback. So many things went right there that like allowed them to win that game. Um, the Ravens just last week, that turnaround, like the fumble recovery for a touchdown. Like, what do you think? I mean, like, does that concern you at all? How lucky it seems they've been getting?
Yeah, I mean that's like in-game variance, right? And that's I guess one of the issues when you're taking a favorite in any of these games. But I mean we've seen like that variance affect the Bills too. Like I think multiple times this season we've seen the Bills overperform against teams and not cover these spreads. Maybe this is a regression spot. Maybe they finally do come out and they put up the stats and the scoreboard performance to show that they did dominate the Bengals. But I don't really think I just wouldn't bet on that. I'm going to take the points here because I really feel like the Bengals are just undervalued in this a game that's damn near closer to 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think I said like I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills win this game and they win the Super Bowl. And
Yeah.
Damar Hamlin gets Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I see that too. All right, and then moving into the last one of the weekend, Dallas Cowboys are 3.5 road dogs in San Francisco. What do you got? I mean, I know what you got, but tell the people what you got.
Yeah, Niner gang, Niner gang, Niner gang. I got Niners minus 3.5, Niners minus 2.5 in the first half. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is another one too, where I think the splits are going to show that the Niners are getting hammered. Wait till game day.
Yeah. The boys are going to be big public favorites, I think.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man. I don't know. I've been thinking about this one, and at first this was one of my favorites of the week, and now I feel a little less certain about it.
Yeah.
I'm just a little concerned about Purdy against this defense. I feel like that could be some problems. I also
So
go ahead.
do you remember last year's playoff game, right? Where I think it showed like the Niners only put up 23 points, but they toyed with that Cowboys defense, like the running game and just like those receivers over the middle, just toyed with those linebackers because the linebackers are just made to look like fools. Like that's going to happen again because it's the same defense, right? That's just honestly underperforming even compared to last year. I think they're number one in overall DVOA. I guess I don't remember what it was defensively, but I think it ranked higher defensively last year. It's going to be the same thing where I think this defense can get embarrassed. I mean, we've seen this defense get embarrassed by teams of a lot less caliber. I mean, we saw
The Bears. The Bears put up 30 on them, I think.
Yeah, and we saw Trevor Lawrence and Gardner Minshew put up 30 plus in back-to-back weeks.
Yeah.
We saw Sam Howell come off the bench, put up 26 points on him.
The thing is, what they're susceptible to is the deep ball. Like that's where they've been getting beat. And what I'm worried about is the pressure that they're going to generate on Purdy. And then
the Cowboys are still the deep ball.
Yeah, I mean that's why they've been letting up. That's where they let up all those points. Sam Howell was beating them deep to like Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson.
Yeah, a lot of it too is also like quarterbacks that can like escape and mobility.
Which we've seen Purdy is pretty mobile.
And then I think the Cowboys, like their strength by far is definitely like the short passing like defense. But I think the Niners are a lot more than that, right? At this point.
Say that again.
I think the Niners are like a lot more than just a short passing game at this point. Like at this point, like we have now like what 6-7 game sample size of Purdy, and I think the stats show that he's been the best quarterback in Shanahan's system.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't know if so I didn't watch the last game last weekend. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to say like Purdy is, from what I've seen, I haven't really seen him move it down the field too much. Like in the deep ball. It's like short to intermediate and like a lot of screens, a lot of relying on Debo, a lot of relying on Kittle to make yak.
Yeah, but it's a combination of that with the misdirection that like is going to make the Cowboys look like fools.
I could see that.
Like I think, what do you think this line is if Jimmy G's here? Like Jimmy G finished the season, even though the offense has been better with Purdy.
It's probably the same. It's probably
the same. Yeah,
it's probably 4. Maybe. I bet it like opens at 4.
It's at 4 right now, yeah.
Oh, it's at 4 now?
Yeah, it's back.
I'm seeing 3.5 still. Let me refresh. Actually, I haven't refreshed.
Oh, I'm on action, maybe action.
Oh, yep. I'm seeing 4 now. Damn, that's crazy. uh, yeah, it's probably still 4, maybe 4.5. I don't know. I mean, it's in that dead range for sure. Um,
I feel like my biggest worry is like at this point, I'm confident that I don't know how the Niners defense can struggle or the Niners offense can struggle. Um, like Brock Purdy can have a bad game, but the team is just so damn good around him that like they can fix his bad games. I think last week was his bad game where he looked a little flustered and he put up one of the best rookie quarterback playoff performances like we've ever seen, like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like when you have those guys and you have all the time in the world, and I guess the Cowboys D line is going to be a test. But if he has that time and it's just those guys against the Cowboys secondary, it's toast.
yeah, I'm just looking at some of the pressure rates here, and like Dallas is second in team sack percentage. And like that makes me a little concerned because has Purdy played any of these teams lately that get? I guess
The
Seattle was
Commanders
top
was
10.
there, right? The Commanders are up there.
Yep, they're up there too. Okay, yeah, so he has been tested. That's fair.
Yeah, it's his biggest test, right? But
Yeah, yeah, man. I mean, 3.5. Now 4. I think we locked in the 3 with the hook. So, um, I don't know. She'll probably be okay. We'll see though. I mean, that one, that'll be interesting to watch. I just like to fade the Cowboys in the playoffs. It burned me last week against Tampa. Actually, it didn't burn me. I still ended up on the night and on the week because I hedged. But like, man, I that could have ruined my day had
yeah.
I.
Well, I mean, the Cowboys were playing a straight up bad team.
They
At the end of
were.
the day, the Bucks were just a bad team this year.
Yeah, they really were. And
Now you're playing the best team in football. You have a rest disadvantage. Good luck.
Yeah. Second week on the road too. I don't know if that plays into anything with like trends or shit like that, but feels like it can't be helpful.
Yeah. And I mean, we only have a 2-year sample size of teams that have to play on Monday and then have to go back and play a playoff game that same week.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right. Well, that's everything. So to recap, sounds like what's going to be on the card is I'm going to be on the Chiefs spread. You're going to be on the Jags. I think we're both on Eagles, both on Bengals, both on Niners. Damn, that's scary. I feel like we're a little too aligned. I feel like that means something.
I mean, when we were aligned last week, we went 2-0 together. So
That's true. That's true. And then you proceeded to smoke the rest of the slate, and I got burned up and down. But you know, I kept myself alive with the teasers, and then was able to hedge out of the teasers, and still make a little bit of a profit. So it's all good.
yeah, I will say though, I do feel a little bit scared this week. Like I'm not exposing myself as much as I did like in last week's Bengals Ravens game or Cowboys Bucks game, but just being a little cautious because I know like after your good weeks in betting, that's when you least expect it. That's when you get smoked.
For sure.
So I'll be careful, but I feel good about these games.
Damn, that's a bad sign. that's
I feel
usually
good.
when
Come
shit.
on.
That's usually
I felt really good last week.
Yeah, that's
This week I
fair.
feel good.
Good. And I wasn't saying it's bad. It's a bad sign when you're feeling good. Just generally as like a rule of thumb, like when I'm like, man, I have no idea how this is gonna go. That's the week that I'm up like 20 units, and then like the week that I'm like, these are locks. Like I'm down
Yeah.
30 those weeks. So that's how it goes. Anything else to add? You want to sprinkle in a little futures talk at all? Have you thought more about conference or Super Bowl futures that you like?
Yeah. So I'm leaning towards an Eagles Bengals Super Bowl. But I was looking at it and like I know bet online right now they give you plus 1100 for the exact matchup. I can just bet that every week and make it up. Like next week the Eagles are going to be like around even. I'll just bet that, double my money. The Bengals right now are plus 200. Bet that, double or triple my money, or I'll double my money and then I'll pull it all together. Bet against them. Bet on them against the Chiefs, and I think I looked at it. It pays out more in the future. So sometimes these futures just don't really pay out if you have the ability to bet on each of these opportunities individually and double it. Which I mean, when I have that chance, I'm not going to actually like put my whole stake in.
Yeah.
I'll be more conservative, but
Yeah.
that's my pick for. I think the Bengals beat the Chiefs for the 4th time in the last 12 months.
They say it's hard to beat a team 3 times, and you're saying it's gonna happen
Yeah.
4 times.
Well, they say 2 times too.
2 times is that? Yeah, they say 2 times, 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, worst lead in hockey or whatever the fucking that saying is. Um, all right. Well, yeah, man. So just to chime in there, I went ahead and took another Super Bowl future on SF at plus 375. I took another one on Philly at 525. I already had, like I mentioned, that Super Bowl future on SF at plus 1100. So I just want a little bit more exposure because it was only like a quarter unit or half a unit. And then I took a Super Bowl future on Cincy as well. I already had them. I think let me check before I start talking out my ass here. At plus 2000. I put 3/10 of a unit on Cincy when they were really slumping to win the Super Bowl.
Nice.
So that feels good. But I went ahead and got some more action on there. I took another half unit at plus 850. And then I took Chiefs to win the conference at plus 140, thinking that I'll be able to, thinking that the Bengals are going to win. They'll go to Kansas City. Because isn't that how that'll work? The Bengals will play Kansas City
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah.
And then I'll be able to hedge that with a dog, which will be nice. And then I also put 2 units on conference future for Philly. So feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty good.
Nice.
It's gonna
I was
require
also,
some active hedging, but we'll see.
yeah, I was just rooting for everyone this weekend.
Yeah, it seriously could. Yeah, if somehow like the Cowboys win and the Giants win, we have that conference future.
Yeah,
Uh,
Cowboys Giants NFC Championship game.
that would piss me off. Honestly, like that would be the worst outcome for me because then like I have to hedge the plus 2200 conference future with what would be like what a 8.5 point favorite. Like that
Yeah.
would be a nightmare.
I also started just like in my head trying to prep myself for after the Super Bowl. I think like the day after the Super Bowl is when they post like futures for next season. I think we were already talking about the Lions one, but I've seen so many people talking about the Lions now that I think they're going to open as favorites.
Damn. That I'm not cool with that.
I know. I saw a meme that was like Dan Campbell, and he was just like 9-8, greatest coach of all time, and then Jim Caldwell like 8-7, like fire his ass.
Yeah. Yeah, people really got on the Dan Campbell train. It's funny too, because like KOC was probably like the best coach in the NFC North this year, but like not really getting the
Was
acknowledgement
he?
because people love.
I would disagree there.
I mean, you guys won 12 games.
Yeah, yeah, we did. Was it
Yeah.
because him? I don't know.
I don't know, but I mean, all you can say is his first year as a head coach, he won 12 games and took you out to the playoffs. So
Yeah, but we somehow looked exactly like those Zimmer teams.
not
I think next
exactly.
year we look.
The Zimmer teams had better defenses.
That's true. That's true.
um, all right. Well, anything else you want to add? I mean, I don't even know what kind of futures open up after the Super Bowl.
All of them, basically, division, Super Bowl. That's
Just
where
not
that's how I
just not
got
win
the
totals.
Eagles 50-1. No, probably not win totals.
Win totals
They'll
don't
be a
come out
little
till
bit
like
more.
August.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
uh, I was thinking though also like NFC South too, just like the Bucks. I think they fired Leftwich, but we don't know what's happening to Brady. But I thought like Todd Bowles, he had a quote that said like we need to be able to kick longer field goals. I saw that, I was like, all right, Brady can't be coming back here.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
imagine a coach saying that in 2023. Like we got to be able to kick longer field goals. Come on, get out
Like,
of
yo,
here.
what? They're gonna get Jameis back. I would love to see that full
Hell
arc.
yeah,
That'd be fantastic.
I'd like to see that.
Who would be the team then? The Falcons? I think the Falcons are primed to win that division next year.
It, it who's their quarterback?
I mean, Desmond Ritter, he was like he looked,
Pass.
dude. Come on, he looked okay in their last game against the Bucks when they had their second, third stringers in.
I'm not betting them to win the division with Desmond Ritter.
I mean, who else is in that division? It's gonna be like him against like fucking either Jameis or Taysom Hill. Uh, him against whoever's backup, Blaine Gabbert. Like, and then who
I
was
mean, if you assume the Panthers fix their quarterback situation, aren't they the best team? Considering how they finished the year too.
maybe? I mean, like, what could they do at quarterback though? Like,
I don't know.
anything they do is not going to be like a meaningful upgrade, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, they could be like one of the teams that makes a big trade, right? Because we know for sure like some quarterbacks gonna be moving this offseason. And if they make a trade, I mean, when we get futures the day after the Super Bowl, it's going to be pre-free agency. It's going to be pre all the trades. So if you can like take a shot at someone before like a trade, like the Eagles one, I took it. I got good value on it because it was before AJ Brown. It was before the draft and all that, and that's when like the odds changed a lot. But like a team like the Panthers or a team that doesn't have the personnel yet, if you can just take a long shot and hoping like, all right, I think they're going to make a change here. I guess with the Falcons too, saying like, I don't think Desmond Ritter is going to be here. There's going to be an actual quarterback there. And I like that. We'll see. Or if you think that Brady goes to the Colts, I think that would be funny.
Brady to the Colts.
Yeah.
Nah.
They just keep getting older.
Brady's just gonna be in the NFL for the next like 20 years because he has so much debt now.
Yeah.
He'll play for whoever. He might be a Bear.
Yeah.
Shit. Put Justin as a tailback. Shit. Well, all right, man. I guess that's all I got. Anything else? Do you have any NBA stuff? I haven't
Not
looked
really
at anything
for
today.
today. I was looking at taking the Wolves at home plus 5.5 versus the Raptors if Anthony Edwards plays. I say he's questionable, but if the line is still 5.5, I imagine he is not playing, right?
Yeah, probably not.
Um,
7 for the Celtics at home against the Warriors. I think I like that. But the Warriors have fucked up the Celtics a lot in the last
yeah.
year.
Remember, there's the first match of this year where I was like, "This is a big revenge spot," and apparently it wasn't.
They blew the doors off them.
Yeah, the Celtics are like a mentally weak team, and the
Yeah.
Warriors aren't a good team, but they're mentally strong. So
Yeah, and like
I think
I
this
feel like
that's a stay
all it
away for
takes,
me.
it's just like the shit talking from like Draymond, Jordan Poole, the two light skins. I feel like they just hit that like light skin grin, and I feel like it just blows up the Celtics. Like, dude, I don't know. There's something about that team that they're just in their head for sure. So
Yeah,
I'm actually good. I'm not gonna touch this one.
yeah. I guess how about the Suns and Nets game? I think there's a potential that Kyrie might not even play that game. Dude, the NBA is a mess right now, as it is all year.
Yeah.
Half the players aren't even playing this league.
Yeah.
Uh,
Suns and Nets. Yeah, I'm good. I'll pass on that.
okay,
And then
Kyrie said he'll play. I think I like the Suns. I mean, I looked at before. What was it? The Nets played the Celtics last week. It was the first game KD missed, and I was looking to see like, is there a way I can back the Nets? Like maybe the Nets will be sneaky. They have no like lineups with the positive net rating outside of KD. That was before the injury. I was like, well, that sucks because now they gotta run all their lineups without KD.
yeah.
And of course, like they haven't covered a game without KD. 3.5 point dogs at home down the Suns. The Suns are they've been like the worst defense in basketball.
Us.
I don't know who's playing for them right
Yeah,
now. Mikal
I don't know.
Bridges.
Cameron Payne.
Uh,
I don't know. I'm good on that too.
I
And
think that
then
there is value though with the Suns if you're picking a side there.
yeah, that probably honestly 3.5. Yeah, I'd bet that and then sprinkle the money line if you're gonna do that. And then Blazers, Sixers. Yeah, I'm good on that one too. I don't want to touch any of these. I mean, I would need to do more research than I have time, so it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, that'll do it for us this weekend. Good luck to anyone out there betting. Make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, we'll be back either celebrating or in tears in the following week.
Celebrating.
Yes, sir.